This video is recorded to help my students to understand how to do Project 6. The student can start Project 6 from this file, which can be downloaded from course Blackboard folder. In this file, I already gave the student a lot of functions under their implementations. The students first need to read through this file to understand what each function do. Like for example, this get input function will get the input of the month, day, and the year, and the post condition, if the date is not valid, will prompt the user to re-enter a valid date. So until this month, day, and year is a valid date. Notice this function is called by reference function, which means the actual parameter, his value, will be changed after the function call. In fact, the actual parameter month, day, and year is the month, day, and year you want to get input from the user. So this function will do the job. This function is an overloaded function. So the second one only input the month and year, and the third one only input the year. Now let us look at the implementation of this function. For example, this function will first print out enter the date of the form in form of MMDDYYYY. Now then you get the month, day, and the year. Now then you check if it's valid. If it's not valid, then you will ask user, tell user the date you enter is not valid. Please re-enter a valid date. Then you will read the month, day, and year from the user. Now notice this month, day, and year you read in this function will actually pass to the actual parameter when you call this function, since this function is called by reference. Okay. Now the isValid function is the same thing. Is also overloaded function. You have three versions. One version is check if a date is valid. Another version is check if month and year is valid. Another version is check if the year is valid. The year is valid if it's later than year 1582 because the current Canada system started from year 1582. So let us check one of those is valid function. For example, is valid of the year. You just return if year greater than 1582, then it's valid. If it's month is valid, first year need to be valid greater than 1582, then the month need to be valid, which means the month need to be between 1 and 12 inclusive. So now how do you check if a date is valid? Of course, first you need to check if a day is valid. I assume the result is true at the beginning. Then I will, depend on the month, I check if the day is within the range of the days in that month. For example, for the case 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 equivalency, in the case of January, March, May, July, August, October, December, then the day must be between 1 and 31 inclusive. So if this is true, then the result keeps still true. If this is false, then the result will turn to be false. Okay? So basically, after this switch statement, your result will change to be false if the day is not within the range of the month. Okay? Now, finally, your result is this result. You will return this result, which check if day is valid in the month and check if this month and year is valid. You call his overloaded version to check if month and year is valid or not. Of course, this function you can implement in this way. For example, you can implement if not is valid month, year, then return false. Equivalency, I first check the month and the year are valid. Now, if you don't return false, if it's valid. If you don't return false, then I will check if the day is valid. Then your final result will be return the result, because you check this version probably make more sense because I first check if month and year is valid. If it's not valid, I already know I don't need to do any further check. Otherwise, I do the further check and see if the date in the given month is not valid. Then I return false. Now, pay attention is case 2. Case 2, you need to divide in two cases. If this year is a leap year, then your day must be in the range of 129. Otherwise, your day must be in the range of 128. Okay, so this is valid function. Then is leap year function, you can implement from the book's instruction. Get a central value function, you can implement from book's instruction. Get a year value function, you can implement from book instruction. All those asked you do it in project 5. So this given file actually is also a solution to the project 5. Okay, now let's go back to here. Then I also have a function called let's see, print Canada. These two functions. Now you need to understand these two functions. Once you understand these two functions, this project is easy because these two functions, you just modify it slightly, then we'll get the solution to the two functions you should implement in this project. Now the one is print out Canada, which give you a month, give you a year. You will print out the Canada of that year, that month. Or print out Canada overloaded function. If you give me a year, I will print out Canada of the whole year. Now, I recommend the student run this project first. However, when the student run the project, you will say, here's a build field. Why? Because the file I gave to you, there is a print Canada function supposed to have a Boolean value to return, but I did not implement it. From the logic we know before, for this kind of function, you can always implement as a stub, which means you give the most simplest implementation, which might not work, in general, will not work for your project purpose, but it will work for you just want to make the project be compiled. For example, this one require you return a Boolean value. So I just simply say, okay, I'll return your Boolean value, return true. Then it will be make the project be able to compile. Now let us compile and run again, build successfully. Let's run this. So I enter my choice, courier date. So courier date enter, for example, today is April 2nd, 2015. Then he will print out April 2nd, 2015 is Thursday. Yeah, today is Thursday, so we know it's right. Then second, print out Canada of given month. For example, the given month is April 2015. Then he will print out the Canada of this month. Now you notice when you print out the Canada of this month, you will, in the first row, you will print out enough space. So your starting date, like April 1st, will start from Wednesday, will start from the right position. We will look at this implementation shortly. Then the third one will print out the year 2015. Then we'll print out the whole year of 2015. Okay. Then option 5 is quit. There is no option 4. Option 4 is the option you need to implement in this project. Okay. Now let's go back to here. Oh, I should not do this way, right? Let me. I actually can just click here. Yeah. Okay. So now let's look at this part. Let us continue look what we need to do. Okay, you look at here. You may have, I put a comments here, you may have implemented all functions above for project 5. The implementation of all functions above are given in this file. So this file are the solutions for project 5 and more. You actually have more in this file. You might implement the functions below. Also, you must change the menu option accordingly and add one more case in the main function. Now, look at the main function. I say you first need to print out the Canada of the specified year to your name.txt file. So, in that case, what you will do? You will ask people into the year, right? Cout, for example, into the year, okay? Then in year, right? So you get the year. Based on the year, then you call the function print Canada. Now this function return you true or false. So if print Canada, then year is the given year. The file name is your name. For example, my name CS.Math.Educator.txt. I print out my function in this file. Okay. If it's successfully, then you print out a message, say the Canada of year has been printed to CS.Math.Educator.txt file. Okay, so you can do this. Else you will print out failed to print out Canada of year. You print out this year again. Okay, so that is our case 4. Now you need to add one more option to a menu. You cout n/t*4.print out Canada to file. Okay. Of course, you can modify the code I just wrote to specify allow user to specify the file name. It's not hard to do. I leave this for student to challenge yourself. Your book has example for that, to specify the file name from the user's input. Okay, now I have this option done. If you want test, you can go ahead and run. It's still success. Then you say, now your option print Canada to the file is there. Okay, now you actually can test it. So for example, you enter your choice 4, then enter the year 2015. Then he will say the Canada of 2015 have been printed out to there. Why? Because your print out Canada, your implementation is just simply say it is true. So it is true, right? So we'll print out to here. Okay. So you basically tested your main function, really call this function successfully. Now the only thing left is you need to implement these 2 functions. Before I implement those 2 functions, I want to understand the given solution. Notice in this project, I want the student read through this given portion of the file. I have 3 questions hiding there. First question, please answer yes or no to indicate if you understand this implementation by adding 1 line of comments at the beginning of the file. This was 1 point. So I really want the student read through this implementation, then answer the question honestly. Do you understand what's going on? If the student understand, you just simply go here and say, you need to write down comments like who is the author, which day you do this work, what version. Then you can understand, say question 1. You just say, yes, I understand. Okay. Well, of course, you need to answer this honestly. because if you really don't understand, will not help you. Okay. Uh, so then next question, I will have something like here. Add one line of comments at the beginning of the file to indicate if you understand what the following if statement does. This was one point. Okay. So basically, if this month, day, and year is not valid, then you will print out the error message and end this function execution. Otherwise, you will print out the month's name, then you will print out the day, print out the year, then say is what day, day of the week. For example, we'll print out January, like April 2nd, 2015 is Thursday. We already run the project to see that. This print calendar is an overloaded function. Okay. Now you also have print calendar. If you give me a month, give me a year, I will use cout to print out this calendar on the screen. We also run the project to see that happen. Now, how to print out a month on the screen? You notice I first print out the month's name, then I print out the day's name. Okay, then I calculate how many spaces I have before I print out the first day of this month. You say I call the function day of the week, month, I give 1, year, which means what is the day of the first day in this month. Now, if this day is, for example, is Thursday, then this function will return you 4. That means you have space count is 4. Then you will first print out all those space. So you will count from 0 to 3. For each time you print out an input char by resolve 4 characters. Why you need to resolve 4? Look at here. Look at this sun. 3 character plus a space in front of it. So every time you resolve 4. So if you start, for example, April start from Wednesday, so this function, the space count day of week function for the April 1st will return you 3. I mean, since it start from Wednesday for this year. Then this space count will be 3. So you will print out first 4 character, 4 space, then you print out the second 4 space, then you print out third 4 space, then you reserve from next, then you start to print out this days in this April. You start from day 1 until how many days in April, like you have 30 days. So this function will return you 30. If you put a 4 April 2015 year, there will return you 30. So this loop will run 30 times. Each time print out one number, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 30. Now, when j equal 1, you will first reserve 4 space, set w4, then print out 1, which is, will start from here. Below here, this line, you will reserve 4 space, then you print out 1. That's why then the 1 will be under Wednesday, this D. We saw the result before, right? So the student should go through this function, understand this loop. Okay, understand this loop. Particularly also here, if the space count plus j is a multiple of 7, which means you finish 1 week, you are ready to go to the new line for next week. So you will print out a new line first. Okay. Now, after you understand those functions, I believe you have another question you need to answer. Yeah, which is here. Days in months at one line. Say if you understand this same your project 5, you might not implement this function in project 5. If so, you just answer the question. Do you understand this? Yes or no? Okay. Again, this function is very simple. How many days in the month? Well, you switch the months. If the case is January, March, May, July, August, October, December, then the result is 31. If in April, June, September, November, the result is 30. If it's February, depend on if it's a leap year or not. If it's a leap year, result is 29, otherwise result is 28. Default, which means your month is an illegal month, then I still give you a value, result equal -1, then I'll return the result. Okay? Now, the only two functions you need to implement is here. Okay, so now let's first say print out the calendar for the year. I already gave you the pseudocode, so you just follow. If the year is not valid, so if not is valid, give me a year. Okay. Now, I really don't need this. Okay, choose a run function, right? If it's not valid, then I will print out the error message. Return false. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't return false, that means your year is valid. So you need to print out this year to a given file with the name file name. So I need to declare local OF stream variable, OF stream. For example, I call it F out. Then I open F out dot open. I open this file for write. Now, if it's open fails, oh, I need to open. You need to give the file name, right? Open file name. Okay. Now, if it's because I need to open this given file with this file name. If the file open fails, if F open, if F out dot fail, then print out error message cout cannot open file with the file name to write. Then I will return false. Otherwise, if I can open, I will use loop for energy I equal 1 from January I less than equal to 12 until December at plus plus. Each time, what I will do, I will call print calendar I, which is your month, right? Then year, which is the given year, to F out, which is an OF stream. You look, this OF stream, which connected to an output file. Then after print out 1 month, if you wish, you can print out more. For example, F out, print out a new line, several new line. Okay, I print out several new line after print out 1 month. Then I close the file, F out dot close. Then I return true. So this is my print out calendar for the whole year. Basically, the whole idea how I print out the whole year, I just use a loop. I print out that year's 12 months. Then to the file, this time I already open file to write, so I just need to use the OF stream, that which is already connected to this file to do the output. Now, if you compare this function with what we implemented before for the print out calendar for the year, almost the same thing, except in this version, since we only print out to the screen, we will not need to open file, not need to close file. Okay. So now you need to print out the calendar for the whole month calendar for a given year by using this output, which is an OF stream. Now, when you call this function, pay attention. When you call this function, your F out is the OF stream. It will pass to output. Pay attention. Output is passed by reference. That means output and F out, they actually are the same OF object, but just have different name. Okay, but the same OF object. So they actually point to the same file, connected to the same file. So here we did say first, if the month is not valid, print out error message and return, then print out the month and the year, then print out the day names, then calculate and print out the beginning space, right? Then oh no, it's not a day name, right? I need to print out the month name. Oh no, day names. Day names which is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That is the first line of your month's calendar. Okay. Then calculate the print out the beginning space. Then calculate the days in the month and print out all the days. That's exactly is the logic exactly the same as the print out the calendar for the version I gave to you, which is here. So you actually can just copy. See what's going on. You can just copy and paste. Of course, I should say I should suggest you write it one time by yourself, but to save time, I just try to show you. Oh, sorry, I should not. Okay, I just want to show you this. Now, the difference, only difference from here is now you don't use cout, you need to use output to do the print. So I just change every cout to output, except this one. This one you will print out to screen for the error message. The others you should print out to the file. So you say cout output, then this will be output. This will be output, and this will be output. Okay, so why this output is an OF stream, right? It's used to print out to a file. Okay, cout is a O stream used to print out to the screen. Okay, now let us compile and run the project. Stop. Oh, we will run the project before, so I stop. So I redo it. Compile successfully. Then let us. We only need a test option 4. Then we enter year is 2015. Then he said that the calendar of 2015 has been printed to CS.Math.Educator.txt. Now, how do you find where it is? You go to Xcode. Well, if you use use Windows, use Microsoft Visual C++, then the output file will be in the same folder as your source code, okay, which is your .cpp file, where your .cpp file located. Then this txt file will locate there. So now, in this Xcode, you go to the preference, you click on the location, then you will see the derived date. You will click on here. What? Oh, probably it's already out. I did make my sense smaller. Yeah, it's show up. Okay, derived date. Then I need to look at my project called Help on Lab. Click on it. Then I go to the build. Then I go to product. I go to debug. Then you will see cs.math.educator.txt, which is printed today at 12:37 p.m. Now it's 12:38 p.m. So we just created about 1 minute ago. So then you double click it. You will say January 2015, print out February 2015, March 2015, April 2015, then May 2015, all this calendar. Every month print it to the file. Okay, so let's go back to this code. So this project actually is not that difficult. Now I hope the student Well, after watch this video, you should try to write all those by yourself. And of course, the first step, you should go through all those given function first to understand what each function do. Also, you need to pay attention is this string month name. After we studied the array, this really don't need it because you can store all this month's name in an array, but that's another story. So far, I just want to use this function for you to practice how to use a switch statement. Okay? Let's see, anything else you need to pay attention? Well, I guess that's all. Of course, you can add some code to make the output more pretty. That's your choice. Don't forget to put the comments on the code. So if you have any questions, please give me an email. Goodbye.